and welcome to this great Network 18 initiative, Dabao Desh Banao. And what better place to talk with and talk about first-time voters than lovely professional universities campus here in Jalandhar. We are going to be talking about the fact that this is the largest democratic festival in the world. This is the largest exercise in democracy that takes place in the world. And it's not something new. It was so in 1947. It has been so since the first general elections, 1951-52. It is the case even now. We are the world's biggest democracy. It's a grand exercise in kind of letting people kind of exercise their right to vote. But then again, out of all the people that we have, 900 million people who are going to be casting their vote, who are eligible to cast their vote, 300 million don't cast their vote, 30 crore people don't cast their vote. It has been almost 67 years since the first time that you had general elections, and yet the figure hasn't crossed that number in terms of polling percentages. So what is it that's keeping people away from casting their vote? What is it that is keeping people away from Dabao Desh Banao that needs to be done, but what is it that's keeping people away? We have a whole bunch of youngsters here from a lovely professional university here in Jalandhar. Just to take a quick show of hands, how many of you intend to vote this time round? How many of you are going to be voting this time round? Let's have a quick show of hands. Okay, one sees a lot of kind of hands up here. How many of you have already voted if you're above 20? All right, so that is where the reality is. You first had that show of hands that they intend to kind of cast the vote, but then when we ask how many have actually cast the vote, there is a big difference. So what is it that's keeping people away? We have a very distinguished panel with us here. Let me quickly introduce Deepak Rana, also known as Chahat, a member of the LGBTQ community and also an activist there. Pratham Mittal here, who is the founder of the Neta app, which is an amazing initiative to get people to at least start figuring out how they can make a difference in terms of the buttons that they press. And then we have Dr. Sanjiv Modi here. He's the Dean of lovely professional university. We are going to be talking about how and why youngsters can be made to ensure that they kind of participate in that democracy that they should be participating in. And then we have Srishti here. She's just come back from the US and she has founded a company that helps students pursue their dreams of education abroad. So we'll be talking to all of you. And in fact, let me begin with Pratham here. Pratham, now Neta app, right. What got you to kind of conceptualize this app? And do you see this as some sort of a trigger point where people actually kind of get a feel of how they can participate in democracy by kind of making choices right there?
Sure. So I think young people today are very logical, right? They don't make any decision behind which there is no logic, right? And how many of you agree with that? Whenever you make a decision, it's always a logical decision, all of you, right? So when they go to vote, they want to have the information, the data on the basis of which they're going to decide their vote. Right. I think that's really important. And until now, that data was not available to them. Because the students here, the people who are young, especially the first-time voters, they're not voting on the basis of caste. They're not voting on the basis of promises, as we just heard from the young man here. So they need some data, they need some validation. And I think when you guys book restaurants, when you want to go to a restaurant, you always check the rating of that restaurant, right? So you don't make a dinner reservation without checking the rating. How can you vote without checking the rating of your leader, of your MP candidate? So that's our initiative with the Neta app. We want to bring data to the young people. So
Pratham making a very interesting point there that it's becoming a very data-driven world where numbers make a difference. It's somehow kind of getting ingrained in us. And that's why Neta app is also kind of helping make that transition, getting you to kind of participate in democracy. Let's get a few reactions from people here in terms of the fact that who is going to be a first-time voter this time round? You're going to be a first-time voter. Are you excited? What is it that you're looking forward to?
I am excited. But having said that, like you already said that there is a certain reason why we don't get chance to vote. And one of the things which I think we have classes, we cannot go to our states every time to vote. So what as an individual I want, and what is the main reason I think is that this is a country why we divide it through states. Wherever we are, we should get this facility to vote from that particular state only, because ultimately you're voting for the country. So as an individual, I think that should be that kind of change we want as a youth, as an individual.
All right, so that's a comment that's coming in that yes, we want to vote, but we also want systems to facilitate that desire that we have, that we want to participate in democracy, but systems have to be there. Srishti, you have come back from the US. In fact, you're also going to be voting for the first time.
That's right.
You are excited about it. And also the fact that we were talking earlier also, why is it that a sizable number of people still choose to stay away from that EVM, that button that needs to be pressed to participate in this biggest democratic festival?
Sure. So I think there are a couple of reasons. One of the reasons that she just mentioned, that you're not allowed to. So I was in the US when I was allowed to vote for the first time, but I couldn't cast my vote. So that was one of the reasons. Another reason I think is that a lot of people probably feel that their votes don't matter, or whoever they vote for wouldn't make a difference. I think that's one of the reasons why people choose not to vote, or they feel that they wouldn't be heard.
Even if you're disgruntled, even if you want to change the system, even if you don't like the system, the currency that you have is the vote. What about you? What is it that you want to say?
Actually, what I feel is like right now, being a part of this youth, I feel the problem we youth face not to vote is lack of awareness. We are holding a big confusion rather than clarity, because we can say on social media and on TV, the blame game is on. The opposition party and the party ruling right now, I have started some kind of strategies and some kind of chaos on the social media. So we as a youth, it's a fact that we all are busy in studying and, making our own career. And even if we get so much motivated to go and cast our vote, we will definitely do that. But on the flow of practical world, we can see one thing that, it's becoming a chaos. People are just holding a perception that until if I speak about the fact, there are n number of people who don't want to vote, and there are some common people who are under poverty line people. They are having their voter IDs. They don't vote unless until they have their lifestyles, and unless until their lifestyles are affected, they don't even bother to vote, because they are busy in earning their money, they're busy in making their lifestyles.
Right.
So lack of awareness is one of the reasons not to vote.
Right. So lack of awareness is a reason, but again I would like to say that casting your vote is extremely important in our democracy, and every vote matters, because you must have seen the kind of efforts that the Election Commission of India goes to, the kind of efforts that are made to make sure that that one vote is cast. You had a team of 6 people walk across 2 days in Arunachal Pradesh to make sure that one 39-year-old woman casts her vote, just one woman, and then they walked all the way back. They knew that there is going to be just one woman. It of course has 100% turnout in that constituency. There was another constituency in the Gir forest which required the Election Commission team to walk 55 kilometers, and Gir is the reserve forest for the Asiatic lion. So they had to walk through it just to make sure that another person, Bhagwant Mahandas, he actually casts his vote. So that is the kind of effort which the Election Commission actually puts in to make sure that votes are cast. But Dr. Sanjay Modi, I'll just ask you, what is it that you can do to make sure that people here who say that they are unable to cast their vote due to various kind of circumstances are somehow incentivized that they should go and cast their vote? What can be done about it?
Allow me to comment on the point which was just being discussed. You see, apart from, there are 3 basic reasons. One, poverty, the students have said, that's one reason. Lack of awareness or education is another very fundamental reason why people don't go out and vote. Lack of health services, which keeps people away, is another thing. And the biggest reason is the apathy. When a common man's voice is not heard for 5 years, it has not been heard for the last, ever since independence, he believes, what difference is my vote going to make? So that apathy is the basic reason. But I think this is what can be improved. The youth should be motivated. You could have options like compulsory voting. There are countries like Australia, you have compulsory voting, Belgium, Brazil, they have compulsory voting. That could be one of the options because it is obligatory. And once people are obliged to do that, perhaps the awareness will automatically improve. 1. 2, I think the technology needs to be used. What Pratham had said, that provides the information. But beyond that, there's lots of people. I myself come from a different town. I will not be able to go to vote if I have some official duties here. So there should be some way, some technology available where sitting here I can cast my vote where my vote exists. So that, and if Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, can address any gathering through a hologram, I think technology should enable it.
That's a point well made. As you say, technology is going to be the enabler that's going to make this possible, because otherwise it's going to be a challenge. But yes, it's doable. India was one of the first countries to take a lead in EVMs, and then it is the largest country in terms of use of EVMs. So why not have a mechanism where you can actually vote online or through some electronic system? As we were saying, it will happen 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line. One can't put a timeline to it, but it will happen.
But let's migration across the country. So I think this is the only thing this will improve it by at least 10%.
Right, right. But like you were talking about the fact that compulsory voting, it has been implemented in certain countries. But again, the Election Commission of India did kind of look into the matter, and they found that it's going to be hugely unimplementable. Imagine if 30 crore people haven't voted and it was compulsory, how do you kind of take action against those 30 crore people? What kind of a mechanism would need to be put in place? So there are challenges there, but of course it's a point that is still being considered. We just had a number of comments on what are the issues that are compelling people to vote and what are the issues that are actually keeping them away from voting. We once again get voices from the youth here in terms of how they are making sure that they do participate in this grand celebration of democracy. Over the last few years, 150 million more people have now acquired the right to cast their vote, and amongst them, transgenders. Transgenders have been recognized as a third gender now. In 2014, they were recognized. At that point in time, there were 28,500 who were there, and only 2,000 managed to cast their vote. About 1,900 managed to kind of cast their vote. And now you have almost 490,000 transgenders, and only 40,000 are registered as voters. So 90% of transgenders are still not registering. Do they consider themselves very distant from democracy, or do they consider that democracy is not enabling them to participate?
अगर social acceptance होती तो day one से, तो I think they are engaging in different types of jobs. उनको jobs opportunity मिलती. तो always we are from 2014 there is a NALSA judgment. Now after NALSA judgment there is no implementation in any state. हमारी लड़ाई अभी ख़त्म नहीं हुई है, हमारी लड़ाई अभी शुरू हुई है. पर अगर ट्रांसजेंडर समूह की बात करें तो इन पंजाब में अगर हम लोगों ने अभी इलेक्शन कमिश्नर के साथ हम लोगों ने किया भी सारा काम मिलके कि ट्रांसजेंडर वोटिंग्स के लिए आएँ. तो इन लुधियाना देर आर 9,000 ट्रांसजेंडर मैप्स, बट वी हैव जस्ट 300 ट्रांसजेंडर्स हु आर विलिंग टू वोट. बाकी रेस्ट आर से टोटली डिनाइड दैट कि वी आर नॉट गोइंग टू वोट.
Alright. In fact, Punjab, he mentioned Punjab. So Punjab had a 71% voter turnout, while across the country the voter turnout was 66%. What are the factors that you're finding which are keeping you away, which are keeping the youth away from casting their vote? Are there any other factors that you would like to highlight? Yeah.
कीमत तो बहुत बढ़ गई शहरों में धान की, लेकिन बेटी न विदा हो सकी किसान की. मौका मिला तो लोगों ने कुर्सी के वास्ते तस्वीर ही बदल दी हिंदुस्तान की. सर इसी का कारण है कि जो लोग वोट कर देते हैं, एक बार किसी ने वोट कर दिया, वो सरकारें कोई भी रहनुमा उनकी उन वोट पर खरे नहीं उतरते हैं, जो उनकी आकांक्षाएं जो अपेक्षाएं होती हैं उसके प्रति खरे नहीं उतरते हैं. तो फिर वो व्यक्ति सोच लेता है कि मेरे एक वोट करने से क्या होगा.
You yourself pointed out that issue, that what is the value of one vote, and then you eventually came down to the fact that one vote makes a difference. Yes, quickly your reaction.
सर एक युवा पीढ़ी होने के नाते मेरा भी ये मानना है कि वोट देना महत्वपूर्ण है. पर अगर हम बात करें कि अगर आज की जो युवा पीढ़ी है, जैसे कि आपने बताया कि अभी भी कुछ प्रतिशत लोग ऐसे हैं जो वोट देना नहीं चाहते, मेरे अकॉर्डिंग आज की जो दोनों सरकारें हैं, मैं किसी सरकार का नाम नहीं लूंगी, पर दोनों सरकारें हर मुद्दे को देश के विकास के साथ जोड़ने के बजाय एक वाद विवाद की प्रतियोगिता का विषय बना देती है. आज की युवा पीढ़ी को विवाद नहीं चाहिए, विकास चाहिए. हमें ना चौकीदार चाहिए ना भागीदार चाहिए. हमें देश में फिर से एक बार स्वस्थ राजनीति चाहिए.
बट आपको मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहूँगा, क्या आपको लगता है कि आपके उस एक वोट से कुछ होगा या नहीं? मैं ये सुनना चाहूँगा.
यस सर, मेरा पर्सनली मानना है कि उस वोट देने से कुछ हद तक फ़र्क ज़रूर पड़ेगा, क्योंकि अगर सब लोग ही बैठ जाएंगे तो वोट कौन देगा, और नया राजनेता जो भी हमारे देश को चलाएगा कौन फिर. तो सर युवा पीढ़ी होने के नाते हम ही देश का भविष्य हैं, तो मैं नहीं चाहती कि हमारे देश का भविष्य जो है वो हम खुद ही डुबा दें.
बिल्कुल सही बात. जैसे आपने बोला कि हर किसी को अपनी वोट ज़रूर देनी चाहिए.
Sir, I just want to say that I think there is a huge disconnection between the young leaders and youth, between the leaders and the youth, between the political class and the youth. I just want to say that we are having a lots of aspiration from the leaders or from the political class, but the political class is failed to do so.
See, in a huge diverse country like India, you're going to have all of these diversities that are going to be there. There are going to be these huge age gaps in terms of perception and everything. But yes, one can sense that youth here want to make a difference. They're trying to make a difference, but yet they feel that the system hasn't kind of lived up to their expectations, and somehow they feel that that divide is increasing. But I'll take a quick kind of word from all of you. How do you see what can be the way forward, considering you just heard the youth here, you kind of felt that disgruntlement? What is the way forward? What needs to be done to make sure that people exercise their right to vote?
Actually, अगर बात करें कि वे फॉरवर्ड की तो अगर पॉजिटिव पॉइंट में देखूं तो इंडिया कुछ एक ऐसी कंट्रीज़ में भी है कि जिन्होंने ट्रांसजेंडर को टी दिया है. कहीं आज तक भी कई देशों में ट्रांसजेंडर को टी नहीं मिला, कि एक आइडेंटिटी मिली है. तो आई थिंक फाइट कहीं हुई थी, सरकारों को प्रेशर हुआ था, तभी जाके ये टीम मिला है। तो इस अगर देखो फाइट तो हर एक राइट्स के लिए है। एज अ ह्यूमन बीइंग हमारे काफ़ी राइट्स हैं, हमको फाइट करनी पड़ती है। एज अ सिविलियन वी हैव टू फाइट, सिविल राइट्स के लिए भी हम लोगों को फाइट करनी पड़ती है। सो आई थिंक अकॉर्डिंग टू मी और अकॉर्डिंग टू द LGBTQ रिप्रेजेंटेटिव, सो आई सजेस्ट कि वोटिंग इज़ अवर राइट। जैसे कि रोटी खाना हमारी ज़रूरत है, तो वोट करना भी हमारी ताकत है।
Pratham, Neta app, and you see the future right in front of you. Right. What is it that can be done to bridge this gap, bridge this divide that we just heard? Youth want to do it, there is disgruntlement, there are things that they want changed, but yet there are those issues that perhaps nothing is going to happen.
Right. I think
How
so.
do we handle that?
5 years ago when I was voting for the first time and I tried to register to vote online, it was a very cumbersome process. There was a 10-step form, and then if you fill even one thing wrongly, the entire form disappears and you have to restart it from scratch. And in the end, I was like, this is way too much work. I'm used to signing up for Facebook. All of you have probably 3 or 4 Facebook, Instagram accounts, right? But you don't have a voter account. So I think if we can make signing up for voting as easy as signing up for Instagram, I think many more people will end up voting.
Exactly. And I think it's youth like you and all of them who are going to make the difference. Dr. Sanjiv Modi, you have been kind of casting your vote. You have seen things change. Are you seeing them change for the better?
I think any democracy succeeds when all of us kind of fulfill our responsibilities and duties. We are very much aware of our rights, but at times we forget to fulfill our duties. I think voting is a very sacred duty. Unless we treat it that way, apathy will not make a difference. I might sit aside and say, I'm disgruntled with the system and not vote, but that's not a solution. And it's very contagious. So I think the youth need to vote. Every vote counts. These 30 crore people you are talking about is constituted by some people who are apathetic towards it. And unfortunately, it is the educated, section of the society which is more apathetic. The ones who are rich, they don't want to just take the pain of going out and standing in this queue and vote.
South Bombay had done the lowest turnout.
Yes. The more prosperous the cities are, metros, have the lowest voting percentages. I think if technology, as I said, if that could enable it, and more of education and a conscientiousness on part of all the voters, especially the educated ones, that we need to go out and vote. Maybe it doesn't make any difference temporarily, but I think in the long run it will.
Right.
It will. That's how democracies function.
Yes, exactly. Srishti, the last word from you. You're going to be casting your vote for the first time. A last word from you. You just heard a lot of kind of comments here. What do you make of it?
So another thing I would say is just going off of everyone's points. So just the accessibility of being able to vote. One is the sign up, one is the fact that you should be allowed to vote in whichever city you're in. So if someone's studying abroad or studying in a particular city, they should be able to vote without having to visit their village or city. So just making it more accessible, I think, would be a good idea, and the awareness that we're creating with the use of the show and just in general as well.
Absolutely. In fact, when India became independent, many in the world were waiting and watching and perhaps almost imagining that India is going to collapse. It's not going to survive as a democracy because the challenges ahead were so many. 16% literacy rate then. Would it really work? But yet over the years, India has beaten hands down on almost all statistics. Our voter base is more than the entire population of Europe and Russia combined. Our voters are more than the number of voters in the entire African continent, all the countries there combined. So it's a huge celebration of democracy. But I hope we all make sure that we do this one thing, which is Dabao Desh Banao. Thank you so much for participating in this Network 18 initiative.